We're going to start our 4Ps today. Finally, we get to those. And you won't forget those, right? Right. Okay, we're going to start product. We have introduced this with the discussion of creativity. And I hope you got to see the Edward de Bono video on creativity. It's very good. He's very well known for this area. Okay, we're going to start with the product. Then we'll do price, place, and promotion will be last. The objectives for this chapter, again, is on product, our product P. Look at the different layers of a product. Look at how people classify products. Look at different types of innovations, which are certainly important today. Look at how firms develop new products, and look at the product adoption concept. Here are some of the pieces that go into this chapter. Value proposition, and again, we've talked about value propositions, but I would try to write one for myself and use it on my resume if I were you. Value proposition: benefits a consumer will receive when buying the product. So if you're writing one for yourself, it's why should the company hire you? That's what it should say. Google these or do something to look at what value propositions are. They're very in vogue today. A product, what is it? Now, for the moment, we're keeping products and services together. Chapter 10 will break services out. Product is a tangible good, service, or idea that satisfies needs. It's a bundle of attributes. It's a bundle of features that you buy. But remember, you buy it because of the benefits. A good, now this is the non-service piece of this. A tangible product, something we can see, touch, smell, hear, taste, or possess. Intangible products, those are services, ideas, people, places. Here are the layers of a product. Now look at the center there. That's your core product. All right? Those are the benefits that people buy. That's why we buy what we do. That center ring is the actual product. Those are the features, the packaging, the branding, the appearance, and so on. And then the outer ring is the augmented product. That really is something fairly new, is that we focus so much on the services that are attached to a product, mainly because we never worried about the services, and now we certainly do. So that outer ring are things like training, customer service, installation, the warranties, those sorts of things. Okay? And the example on the right-hand side are the layers of an automobile. How do we classify products? Well, the durable goods, something that lasts some length of time. Non-durable, something we consume fairly quickly. Bread, milk, well, you can say printer cartridges again. Ooh, wow, are they making money on that or what? Here are the figures of different types of products. We've got business on the right side, consumer products on the left. And certainly we market these two sectors very differently. Classification of consumer products, convenience, shopping, specialty. And that unsought is a nasty little beast to try to get your hands on, because it's something that's new or we didn't really know existed or we didn't know we needed as consumers. The business side, it's the equipment, it's the maintenance, it's the raw materials, it's the process materials, it's the component parts. Okay? Now, convenience products are frequently purchased, and that's true. Shopping products take some time and effort to get information and so on. Let me go down for just a moment. Specialty products, they have some unique aspect to them. Unsought, that you really didn't know you needed until you saw it. And that's, if you think about checkout counters, all those little bags of things like rubber bands and gift cards, you just really didn't know you needed those until there they are. Okay, now I want to go back for a moment. Convenience products, shopping products, specialty products, if you think about them in terms of whether or not there is a significant brand loyalty and how much information a consumer needs to purchase the product. Convenience, there's no brand loyalty, don't need any information, you buy it. Shopping products, typically no brand loyalty at this time. It can become brand loyal. and you do need a lot of information. Specialty products, you usually have something in mind. Now, the same product or service can be categorized differently for the very same person. For instance, if you're going on a vacation looking for motels versus a business trip versus an emergency trip, you're going to take a hotel room or a motel room and you're going to classify those probably into convenience or shopping or specialty, depending upon the purpose. But realize that the very same product or service can be classified differently for any one individual. Business to business, equipment that's used normally in day-to-day operations, maintenance, repair, operating. You typically use those quickly. Raw materials, things that go into the process. New and improved, the process of innovation. A product that customers perceive to be new and different from existing products. And there are just a couple little legal issues we should cover here. There's something that's called just noticeable difference, JND, just noticeable difference. And by law, if consumers cannot tell the difference between the previous product and the new product, then you cannot say it is new or improved or that's an innovation. So bear that in mind. Continuous innovation, that's where we modify the product repeatedly for some different reason, a new need, something is found out about it, and so on. That's continuous innovation. Dynamically continuous, pronounced modification to an existing product. I would say some of our cars are this if they're changed dramatically. Discontinuous is a totally new product. Never knew it was there, never had it before, knew nothing about it. Okay, new product development, NPD. These are the phases that a company goes through in developing a new product, and we'll go through all those phases. Okay, here they are. So what's back here is on this figure. Okay, first of all, you have the idea generation. Now think back to our creativity, where we want people to come up with new ideas or ways to solve problems. That's an idea generation, and those can come from your employees, they can come from your customers, they can come from any stakeholder, basically. They can come from the competition if you're watching them carefully. Okay, you take those ideas, go to phase 2, and you basically test those ideas. Now realize that every phase we go to, some ideas are falling out. So whatever makes it through phase 2, we go to phase 3, we go into some kind of strategic development. Then we go to phase 4, do a business analysis. This is where we look at return on investment. We look at how quickly we have to turn products around, those sorts of issues. Then we go to phase 5, which is a technical development. You usually do a prototype here, and this is what they do in Detroit all the time, where they have their car shows and bring out quote-unquote prototypes of cars. It's something they're thinking about doing, but haven't necessarily made the firm commitment. Okay, phase 6 is test marketing. And Dayton, Ohio, this region is one of the big test markets for many companies, for many products. We are so, in this area, we are so, I guess, typical of people in the United States. We are, I don't want to say the average American, but we are. Not on any extreme. We are rock solid kind of people, and that's why companies come here to test, because they want to know what we, I hate to say that term, average American thinks, but that's how they look at us. And if we like something, then it's likely that it's going to make it somewhere. Then finally, we go to commercialization. That's where you put your full marketing plan into place. You run out the initial products, and so on and so forth. And realize that this process can take a couple months, it can take a couple years. Adoption and diffusion. How quickly are consumers going to use your products? Who's going to be the first to try it? And so on and so forth. So product adoption is a process by which a consumer or business customer begins to buy and use a new good, service, or idea. Diffusion is a process where that product or service spreads throughout the population. Here is the adoption pyramid, and start at the bottom and work up. With awareness, we make the marketplace aware of it. We try to then develop an interest in it. We want them to evaluate the product, see how it will benefit them. They try it. That's why we send out many samples and things. They adopt it, try it for sure, and then confirmation. That reinforces that you made a good decision. What you don't want to happen is that cognitive dissonance again we talked about back in consumer behavior. Here's a category of the adopters. First you have your innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. The innovators are those people who get in line at midnight to buy the newest Xbox game or something. Or they are the people who buy the very first automobile off the assembly line if it's the New Year model. This group is typically not the same for any different category of products. So for clothing or electronics or food, innovators are probably different people. They're not the ones that marketers really worry about other than making them aware of products. They're going to buy it whether it's a good product or not. They're going to buy it no matter who does. Early adopters are the ones we really have to seek out and market to. They're the ones that are going to influence everybody else. Okay, so you go from those innovators who are probably always going to try something new. Then you get those early adopters, and they give the information to those early majority people, to late majority, and laggards are always the last to try by product category. All right, sometimes you don't even worry about the laggards. You just let them go. Product line decisions. Okay, we have product lines, we have the length, and so on. We have product mix decisions. How wide is it? What's the length of it? What's the consistency? And here is a very, very old, and certainly not even close to being complete, product mix for Procter & Gamble. Now, the product mix is everything on here. The product length is any one of those categories. So you've got detergents, toothpaste, bar soap. Those are all lines, product lines. The entire thing is the product mix. And that's very important because if we go back here to the bottom part, look at the width and length and depth and consistency. What you look for are places where you don't have a product, essentially. Consistency, do these work with everything else that we have? And that can be real important when companies are buying up new products or something, or other companies. So this is a very, very scaled down version of P&G's product mix. And the lines, again, are detergent, toothpaste, or diapers, and so on. Branding, do we brand or do we not? Well, branding is a huge piece today, and any of you who are finance or accounting majors, you're likely going to be involved in determining the value of a brand because that's actually being put on the balance sheet now as an asset. So do we brand or don't we? Then we decide about the brand sponsor. Are we going to have a manufacturer's brand? Are we going to have a private brand? Do we have a licensed brand? Manufacturer's brand are all of the I guess Levi's jeans that you see in many, many department stores. That's a manufacturer's brand. A private brand would be the specific brand that is sold at Kohl's or Macy's, where they put their own brand on it. A licensed brand, an example there is the NFL allows apparel manufacturers to license their brands to put on clothing. Then you look at brand strategy. Do we want a new brand? Do we want a brand extension? Do we want a line extension? Now think back to your product mix. Where are the holes? All right, and think about something like Tide. Tide has been around since 1947 and have not done anything even remotely close to a new brand for Tide. Now they've done other detergents, but they've done a lot of brand extensions where they have like the Tide Pods and the Tide with Febreze and so on. Then there's something called brand repositioning. And the best example of this is Arm & Hammer, which once again was designed initially for baking. And now we use baking soda in detergent and toothpaste and so on. Brand equity. And again, this is something that companies put a lot of resources into determining and making a brand. visible and important in the world. Some of the top brands today are Google, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, and look at how much time and effort and resources it took so that the world basically recognizes those brands. Not only recognizes them, but many people prefer those brands. First of all, you start at the bottom of this pyramid with no brand loyalty whatsoever. You're starting at trying it for the first time. You try it, you like it, no real reason to change. Satisfied and switching costs. And that could be switching costs for a lot of different reasons. You know, I do photography and I have a Canon camera body. Now, if I were to switch, it would cost me a lot financially because the lenses that I have only fit on that camera or on that Canon camera. So Nikon and Canon lenses aren't interchangeable. So things like that. You also have psychological issues with switching brands where it would hurt you emotionally somewhat to change a brand. Then you value the brand. The brand becomes your friend, quote unquote, and then you become devoted to the brand. Coca-Cola is one of my big brands. I do not consume that PEPSI stuff. Just don't do it. I don't know why. That's my brand loyalty. Okay, some good name brands. How do you determine what's a good brand name? Should be distinctive. Should not have problems with language issues. And if you look at GM, and of course they have the Nova. And for those of you who know Spanish, Nova in Spanish means no go. So GM takes a car, the Nova, into Mexico with a name that says it doesn't go. Now, how smart is that? A brand name should be easy to pronounce, recognize, and remember. It should, to some degree, suggest product benefits. Unfortunately, most of the time they don't. And it should suggest something about the product qualities. Packaging, it's a big deal. It becomes more important all the time. Just realize there are many legal issues involved in what you do with packaging. Now, the top part here looks at the immediate packaging. An example here, I drink a lot of Propel water. Now, if I were to buy just a single bottle of Propel, that's the immediate package. When it comes in a 6-pack, that's that secondary package. Then the shipping package is somehow they put all those 6-packs together on a pallet usually and plastic wrap all of them together. So that's the shipping package. Realize how many legal issues are involved. The labeling identifies, describes, and promotes, but you better have the right pieces on that labeling, so make sure you have legal counsel when you design those. And that's it for product. All right, we will go to Chapter 9, which is new product development, and we will continue from there. If you need me, call, email, or chat.